a recipe just a favorite recipe. And this is hummus and cucumber crostini, which calls for 12 large bagel chips, half a cup of hummus, 1/4 English cucumber, thinly sliced, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Now, what I want to do is I want to triple this recipe. Okay, in other words, maybe I know that I'm going to have 36 people coming, or maybe 12 people, in each one I give 3, like on the plate here, 3 of these hors d'oeuvres. So if I want to triple this, that means I would take each one of these and multiply by 3. So in other words, I would have 3 times the 12 large bagel chips, which would just be 36 bagel chips. I would take 3 times 1/2 the hummus. Remember, you can write 3 as 3 over 1 times 1/2. When you multiply fractions, you multiply the top and you multiply the bottom. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have a 3/2 cup, so you might want to go ahead and change this improper fraction into a mixed number by saying 2 will go into 3 one time, and then 3 minus 2 is 1, and then you keep the same denominator. Okay, so that kind of makes sense, 1/2 of a cup. And then the same with the cucumber, 3 times 1/4. I can also write that as 3 over 1 times 1/4. And so I get 3/4 of a cucumber. And finally, 3 times 1 tablespoon, so I just need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So this is how I would triple the recipe. Now, if I want to take this same recipe and I want to cut it in a third, okay, meaning I want to take 1/3 of each value. So I take 1/3 times the 12 large bagels. Well, notice that's the same thing as just dividing by 3, because if I write that as 12 over 1, we multiply 12 over 3. So I would just simply have 4 bagel chips when I take 1/3 of it. I want 1/3 of 1/2 cup. So I multiply and I get 1/6. Now, if you don't have, some people may not have, they just have 1/4, maybe 1/8, 1/3. They may not have a 1/6 cup. So one thing you could do is you could convert this into tablespoons. You may not get an exact value, but for 1 cup is 16 tablespoons. So what you could do is you could take this value and simply divide into 16. Okay, so in other words, 16 divided by 6, which is 2.66666666. Okay, we'll just write that, and you might say, well, I don't have a 0.67 tablespoons, but what you could do is now you know it's 2 tablespoons and then a little bit over 1/2 of a tablespoon. Okay, so that just gives you another way in case you don't have a 1/6 cup. Same thing with take 1/3 of the 1/4. That's 1/12 of a cup. Again, if you don't have a 1/12 cup, then convert by dividing 16 over 12. Convert this into tablespoons, and this is 1.333333, which this is actually 1/3. Okay, if you another way you could do this is you could take 12/16. Let me back up here, and you could turn this into a mixed number. 12 goes into 16 one time. Okay, we have left over 4. 16 minus 12 is 4, and then 12s. I could reduce 4 12s by dividing out of 4, and that gives me 1 1/3 tablespoon. Okay, because most people will have a 1/3 tablespoon, and of course you'll have 1. And then finally, 1/3 of the tablespoon of the olive oil, which just means your 1 tablespoon turns into 1/3. So these extra little steps over here are kind of nice whenever you need to convert something from, say, cups to tablespoons. so nice with the internet these days. You can just simply Google conversions and see that 1 cup is 16 tablespoons.